Good evening. Welcome to Ladies POV. We're so thankful that you can join us. Before we get started and get into anything, we just want to ask you if you wouldn't mind just kind of liking, subscribing. Make sure you drop down in the comments and let us know what you're thinking about what we're saying, because we are some opinionated females. And these females are Miss Lucretia
Hey everybody.
and Miss Rue.
What up, though?
And I am Devin. How are we this Sunday evening? I'm mad because it's cold outside and it's almost May. I'm having some issues with it, but
I thought it felt pretty good. I ain't got no sleeves on.
Yeah, I don't think it's too cold.
I ain't go outside.
I ain't been outside that much. I was out there earlier, but I'm back in now.
I went to a Texas Ranger game yesterday and I was freezing. I had to go buy a hoodie just to function, and it's April. I said, this is ridiculous. This should not be happening. Hey, Shantae. Hey, girl.
Did you see my comment? I was like, girl, it's cold out there.
It was. I didn't see it, but yeah, I was like, not here for it. So, we get a little long-winded. And I think this first topic of ours it can easily turn into something else. We all know, hey, Kendrick, good evening. We all know the Black household hasn't looked the same since, I believe, I'm going to be honest, since like the slave days, since they start trying to deliberately break down the Black household. And now everybody kind of has their own way of reconstructing their household and dictating what their household should look like. Even going as far as polyamory, ethical non-monogamy, things like that. Oh, I won't even get into my opinion at this moment. Where are you ladies with this?
I'll let Lucretia go first.
Okay, I don't mind. I brought this topic to the table because it was introduced to me, and I was asked if I could ever be a partner. The way that he brought it, he told me out front, I am a part of this ENM community, and we want you. He didn't say me. He said, we want you to be a part of it. I didn't know what it meant. I had to go home and look it up. I was real offended. Apparently, all of the titles, the polygamy, polyamory, ENM, ethically non-monogamous relationships. So all of the polygamy, polyamory, all those titles, swingers, all them people fall up under this. And what it is one primary person, man or woman, and they have a partner. Their partner can have a partner, and that partner can have a partner. But everybody knows about everybody's partner, and everybody is okay with everybody having partners. So much so, just to put it into perspective, I could be with Devin, and then Devin could be with Rue. And I know that she's with Rue, and Rue is welcome in my house, and I'm okay with that. Well, then Devin is still my primary partner. Well, I'm Devin's primary partner, but I can go and be with Shantae, and Devin is okay with me being with Shantae. So much so, all four of us could live and coexist in the same house. Share bank accounts, they share responsibilities, they all rear the kids. This is past sister wife stuff. I was shocked because I didn't know Black folks did this stuff. But apparently it's communities, even here in Dallas, where they live within blocks of each other. Call me sheltered, call me green. I thought I knew a lot, but this is a trend. And the way he brought it to me is that this is how they're rebuilding the Black family. It's more support. Supposedly it frees up the women, it frees up the men. It didn't matter how he spun it. I wasn't for it. It's not for me. So let's get that out there. I'm not knocking anybody who won't do it, but it's just not for me. I mean, he even tried to say, well, I'm pretty sure you've been cheated on, but this way you'll know up front. Still not for me. So call me old fashioned. I don't share my money. I don't share my food. So I'm not finna share my man. So I don't understand. Hey. And then it was called ethically. That's what got me. Like, why is it ethical? Just because the other person knows? I don't. And they got rules, ladies. They have rules. Like handbooks, hand guides, 100+ rules. This is a pretty established movement, like 2010. It gained a lot of speed. around 2015, 2016, and it's rolling.
Oh wow.
It's not old. People been doing that since the dawn of time.
My sheltered behind knew nothing of it. Okay, I knew people were cheating because we got cousins that look like the family down the street, and then after Papa died, you find out that that's really your brother or your uncle. So yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know that it's no longer taboo. That was what got me.
Yeah, it's no longer taboo whenever you're able to put a label on something.
I'm like, he was gonna invite the other woman. He was like, well, she's gonna come next time when we go out to eat, and she's gonna explain it to you. There ain't gonna be no next time. Like, I'm not coming back. In my mind, all I saw is one person gonna get herpes, and then everybody gonna have herpes. That's where I went to. Maybe I was
being single. Huh? I said people do this now being single.
I'm saying I can't do it. It's not for me. Yikes, exactly, Kendrick.
People are 10 times more likely to lay down without protection when they're single than when they're actually in a committed relationship. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you are emotionally invested with another person, you don't want them to be hurt. So you kind of safeguard yourself, even cheaters. Like when you're cheating on somebody, you want to make sure that it don't come home to the person you're with. So to sit there and say that they're just spreading herpes, no.
I didn't say they were just spreading herpes.
I'm more of a single person than I am of a committed.
I didn't say they were spreading herpes, but I said it's just a higher risk because there's more people involved. And I don't know, because I've seen too many relationships where cheaters bring home babies. Mm-hmm. I mean, they wasn't worried about wrapping up then. So it's not for me. It's a straight, give me the circle with the red line across my picture.
Devin, what you got? I'm gonna wait till both of y'all finish so I can sit there and
I think that each individual relationship should have their own guidelines and things that they have for their own individual relationship. I'm a believer that life is too short and you should just do and be whatever makes you happy and comfortable. It's not for me. And the reason it's not for me is because I mentally don't think I can handle it. Just even when I'm gonna say quote unquote single and like in the dating world, in the dating space, and say I'm dating a guy who we don't have a title, you know how that go. And I'm the worst person, my motto, my saying when I was single was I'm single till I'm not. But at the same time, though, I was a hypocrite. And if I'm dating somebody who I really like and I've kind of cut people off, if I find out he's seeing other people, I feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's a territorial thing. Maybe I need to talk to somebody about it, but it's not for me. And I just feel like there would always be a little bit of hostility or something like that in my household. So it's not for me. I prefer a 2-person monogamous relationship, and to each his own. I also do not believe being in an ethical non-monogamous relationship means that none of the 4 or 5 whoever people will not step out. Mm-hmm. I think that just like someone could get bored with the person they're with, this one, they could get bored with those 2. Because the thing is, a lot of times, I'm not saying all of it, I know for men, a lot of it is ego, but I know a lot of times if someone's out and someone comes on to them and they like this person and there's something about them that's not like the person in their household, they could still cheat. Matter of fact, I was bored some years ago and I was watching that show, Sister Wives, and I remember one of them stepping out and cheating. I was watching this freaking show, Paternity Court, where they were practicing polyamory. And there was an issue because somebody got pregnant by the man that wasn't in the house. So I don't think that means people won't cheat. I think that's a misconception people have, that if you're in a polyamorous relationship, that it's easier to be faithful, but that's not true. You just have kind of like what Lucretia was mentioning, more supports, more people to help. Oh, I don't know where that echo came from. I don't know. I think you just have more people to support the relationship, more people to help with the children and things like that. I don't think it helps at all.
True, Sante.
I'm like,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know
it's a
what happened with
guarantee
y'all
single or
volume, but I can
together. But
barely hear y'all right now.
do I need to sit closer? Can you hear me now?
No. So I've said before that I don't have an issue with any type of poly relationships. I'm gonna start here by saying there's a lot of people that can't even do individual relationships. So why we're talking about the Black household adding numerous amounts of people to it when we're already at each other's throats as it is, and there are not very many households that get along without divorce rates being high. I mean, I feel like we need to work on stuff ourselves and within our relationships, our dynamics with each other before adding other people to the mix first. But I don't have anything against poly relationships. I've said that I wanted another husband or another wife. That's just my belief because I don't feel like a man can be monogamous. It's not in his nature. That's how I feel. And I feel likewise it shouldn't I feel like it should be up to both parties to figure out how to keep their relationship intact if that's who they want to be with. So if adding another person to the mix allows you to still continue to be with that person, then yeah, I'm all for it. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Building relationships with 6 people, that doesn't make sense to me. I can probably deal with just 4 or just 3 myself. But I don't think. See, this is kind of like it's kind of a rabbit hole to me because I feel like at this point people are talking about it. Like I said, the whole label thing is when you put a label on something, then all of a sudden it's not taboo anymore, right? Then it's normal. But I feel like in a way it's still faddish. Like you're trying to add another person to a relationship when you don't even know yourself enough to even try to even explain how you want another individual to have a relationship with you. And we're still stuck in this age where we're telling other people that it's their job to make us happy instead of making ourselves happy and then adding, other people's happiness with our own. We're putting so much pressure on the other person and then people don't even stay together. And then now you're going to add more people when you don't even have the emotional intelligence or any kind of communication ability. Like even with these kids with this social structure, they don't even know how to talk to each other, but you're going to have 2 girlfriends. How you're going to try to have 2 boyfriends when women are primarily looked at as gold diggers, or a man has to pay for stuff continuously. Like people's brains are warped. It doesn't make any sense to me. How would you deal with different personalities? Have you deal with different personalities on a regular basis? That's why I said some people, yeah, it's not for them because they don't understand it. And then this whole thing with a woman, I know people think about a woman having 2 husbands. We'll put it that way. How are you gonna be able to maintain 2? Women aren't built like that either. We can't have kids for one husband, go to their house, take care of that, take care of them, and then have another group of kids that we are not built like that. And you can't do that. We because we multitask doesn't mean that we'll be able to split households. If we were to have 2 husbands, they would have to be all together in the same house because we can't split our time between children like that. The children would all have to be together. So realistically, if people are going to think about having a poly relationship, they need be realistic with it. This is the reason why women don't do it too much, because they can't move around that way. Genetically, you can't do it. Emotionally, you can't do it.
Kenneth mentioned, is it the fact that you are bisexual?
Who said that?
Kenneth, it's in the comments.
He asked me if I was bisexual.
Well, I don't know if that was I don't know if that was directly toward you, but what I'm saying is, I think he's saying, is it because some women who are agreeable, is it because they're bisexual?
No, I don't think it's necessarily that they're bisexual because I think it's one, you're looking at it for a stability aspect and an emotional aspect too, because not everything is sexual. There's things that my husband gives me that, I wouldn't be able to get from anybody else. However, there's things that are missing from my husband that I could potentially get from someone else. And the way our structure works, if we were to, I'm not gonna call us swingers. I'm not gonna call us like every once in a while he'll get a hall pass. Every once in a while I can get a hall pass, but we communicate that this is what we want for the time being. This is what we need. And to put a stipulation on a person to say you cannot be your authentic self is damaging. To me, it's damaging to a relationship in general. And that's the part that people not understanding. So,
Rue, you and your husband were both in the military?
Yeah.
And see, I asked that because he gave me permission to use his name. His first name is Kenneth. He said that it became very appealing to him because him and his primary partner would be deployed at different times to different places. Mm-hmm. And so they were lonely. And then when they would come back together, they missed the partners that they had. Like he was in Kuwait and I think she was in Germany or something. And when they came back, it was always that buffer time where they had to reacclimate to each other. And she would be withdrawn because she missed her partner from Germany. He would be withdrawn because he missed his partner from Kuwait. And they just sat down and had a conversation. And they decided that being with other people was not going to end their marriage.
And I feel like that's a little bit different because having a relationship in the absence of another partner, to me that's damaging too because it's not real.
Oh, I think all of it at some point is damaging. Huh?
I'm sorry?
No, I was asking you what you say.
Oh, okay. So to me, the way I look at it is that if you're forming a relationship because of the absence of a partner, that's stunting. Like to me, it's not real because you're filling a void that may not necessarily be there whenever you get back with that person. And then when you're back with your original partner, you're missing what you had because you have acclimated to that environment, which is the environment that you put yourself in at that point. And so now it's like, well, what if I had stayed where I was? What if I was still with that person?
I don't see how.
You never know.
I don't see how you can give equally to me and her, and me personally, I don't see how I could equally love you and him because at some point I'm going to care for one more than the other. So I don't think that's fair. Shantae says, it seems dishonest to yourself if that's the basis. Well, yeah, that point, but I feel like when there's more than one person, now in my 20s, yeah, we all dated around, we had more than, one boyfriend at a time or whatever. But as you get older, you want to settle down. I just felt like it wasn't fair. Like there was going to be times where you couldn't be all for me and I couldn't be all for you. But it worked for them. I don't knock it for them. I said, hopefully y'all find y'all fifth or whatever y'all looking for, but I'm not her.
Yeah, I don't.
And then the funny thing is that I would be his girlfriend, but I had to explain to him I don't like women. So where did she come in? Like, what was out of her? I mean, it's all kind of.
Y'all could be friends. It's like you don't have to necessarily. Y'all ain't necessarily all got to be in love with each other. That's the whole.
It was none of it was gonna work for me.
Idea. That's not how that works. You can't force them. People vibe.
No,
people
all
actually
of them,
get to know
at some point, they was all crossing. It wasn't working for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going up in there. I don't know. You're not going up in there like you're gonna have to like this person. If y'all don't click, y'all don't click, and it's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. And I guess a common misconception, people will think that, you're the other person, that you're kind of forcing it. It's not meant to be forced. This is what happens. This is what I think is going to be a good fit. We'll see how it goes. And it's like you're dating. Everybody's filling each other out. Everybody's getting to know each other. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. I think people need to stop putting the sexual aspect into it first. They need to when it comes down to it, you're gonna be able to sleep with this person, That's not what that's about. Like,
I think for some of the men, that is what it's about. Because if you have a man with more than one female and these women aren't bisexual, they aren't sleeping with each other, but this man is able to free.
There was more, not to be confrontational.
Some men, it is.
But yeah,
it does have a sexual foundation. But then he can say, but this is how it will benefit you. She can help us with the kids. She can also be your friend when I'm gone, if I'm off on a business trip. I think that's kind of where it goes. But
Okay,
me being the type of person I am, I'd be like, okay, so if we bring another dude in here, would that be okay? Which I would never. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think for a lot of those relationships that would be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody wants to say don't make it sexual, but that's what it boils down to. That's why everybody needs to get along. And yeah, I'm okay with Rue and Devin sleeping together, but what if I want to try Rue? You cannot make me believe that that the sexual aspect is not that important. It's there. And
if you're young, definitely. If you're younger and still sexual, then
Kenneth said that you probably need to be bisexual to appreciate this type of relationship. I don't know. I'm not knocking bisexual people. Do what you do whatever make you happy. I don't care, but it's not for me.
But even if you're bisexual, I don't know, maybe it's me and my own emotional issues. I just think someone would be emotionally neglected at some point. I don't think I could feel the same about two parties.
Well, going into a relationship, let me ask you a question. Your current fiance now, do you love him the same way as you have in the past loved anybody else?
Well, I mean, it's all apples and oranges, of course.
No, you don't.
But I put all of my energy, all my emotion, all of my everything into him. You see what I'm saying? And
at one point you put all of your energy into somebody else too.
Correct. But at that time he wasn't getting it. So if there was another male in this household and I'm putting all my energy into him, that other person, then my current wouldn't be able to get it. If I brought another woman in this house and she needed her emotional needs met, because let's just be honest, us women can be some emotional creatures and we can be a little needy.
And it's a balance. It's a balance. Just like if you have a group of friends, each one of them individually has different personalities, right? And sometimes one may be on their rag, and then the other time the other person just may be moody, and then the other person may just need some time, or one needs some gifts, and it's the same. It's the same thing. You know what makes the other person tick, or you're finding out what makes the other person tick. You're not taking anything away from any individual, because the time that you spend with that one individual person is the time that is spent, and then the other individual, whatever time is spent with that individual, that's exactly what it is. It's whatever is being spent with that person. You're not taking anything away from something that's being given. You can't take anything away from something that's being given. So it doesn't, I can understand how people don't understand it, because we are selfish in a way. Like human beings are just selfish. They think that everything is supposed to be, how do I get something instead of how something's given. And so it kind of it's like stunting your mind. It's telling your mind that you're not able to give enough. No, you definitely are. You can give a lot to anybody.
Shantae just mentioned everything. Shantae mentioned, does everything have to be equal in the relationship though? Or is it just what works for each individual?
No, because some individuals require different things. Like my husband doesn't require really shit. Oh my God. He doesn't require much. I don't require much. So if there was another person added that is like gaudy as I don't know what and likes to get her nails done and get her hair done and like I'll be like, hey, is you paying for that, or am I? Does she need to go to work? What do we need to do to make this happen? Everybody can chip in, or she can pay for it herself. It's like stuff like that. If stuff needs to get fixed around the house, he don't feel like doing it, then we need to figure out how we need to get it fixed. If anything, it's extra hands on projects to me. It's not necessarily, like I said, it's not all sexual. It is, how do you contribute to the relationship? And that's how people should be picking relationships in the first place. How do each individual person contributes to the relationship? Stop doing this. Oh, well, I'm marrying him because he loved me. You should have been loving people like without expecting something in return. You probably would have had better relationships back then if that was the case. So I don't know. I have a different view on all of that.
Yeah, I definitely think to each his own. I think that individual personality is going to have a different need and desire in their relationship. And I do think that a person should form their own relationship based on what their needs are and what they're able to tolerate. It just ain't for me. But if it was for my girlfriend, and if I knew she was happy and wasn't talked into it, then I would be completely okay with her being in it as well, as long as that's something she really wanted to do. Talked into it by some dude trying to convince her that it's going to benefit her as well. So that's kind of where I am with it. Anything else on that, Lucretia?
I'm not gonna be able to do it. I do think that probably in 20 years or so, it's gonna be the norm. I don't want to take away from people doing what they want to do. I want to, do what you need to do. Be you, be happy. So I think that that's what relationships are gonna look like in a few years. So
I definitely think it's to be you, be happy, but I also think that this trend is new, and I think that people will learn, kind of.
You know what? I really hope. I hope it's not a trend, because all these people that are getting there and they're getting emotionally invested, I would hate for it to be a trend and then it become unpopular, and then all these people have to fall out of these built and established relationships, and now they're hurting again. I hope it doesn't happen that way. Do you, baby?
And Kenneth, he's been married for 39 years, and he said he wouldn't want another woman like that. More women, more problems. He
even brought up the biblical days, like if you can afford multiple wives, have multiple wives, sir. So yeah.
Hey, to each his own. I mean, I like I say, back in the day, we know some grandmothers and aunties who, were in relationships, and the man had women across town, but the women weren't happy about it. Let's just be honest. They were not happy about it, and they didn't want to talk about it. And if we saw it in the grocery store, it was some eye rolling and, almost boxing. So it wasn't a happy situation. It didn't benefit all parties equally. And that's my thing. It has to benefit all parties equally.
Can you still hear us?
Barely.
A little bit. Okay, y'all. Let's switch over some topics real quick. As we know, Jonathan Pentland was a Army sergeant or military sergeant who was sending a viral video recently harassing a Black man on the street in South Carolina. He was eventually charged with third-degree assault for pushing this man and towering over this small boy. He looked like half of him. He could probably, that boy's probably big as his arm. And then there was another incident where a soldier was being mistreated and acting a fool. I don't know what's going on. I know it falls into the Black Lives Matter repertoire, but it's sad to hear. Where are you ladies on this?
I'm kind of, when I saw it, I wanted him to actually ask him, like, first initial, if you think it's a racist thing, why don't you ask him, is it because I'm Black? And just look at him. I want to see the reaction. Because there's been plenty of times where I have calmly asked someone, you having a good day? If they got an attitude with me for whatever reason, maybe their day was, but just stopping them in the middle of what they're saying. I knew very well the reason why they were getting all hyped. And I've even had somebody call me that girl, you people, all that. And I'm like, oh, did you have a good day today? Did you? And it kind of makes me, I had a messed up day. Yeah, I did, and then it opens a conversation. But with him, I wanted him to ask is it because I'm Black you don't want me here? And then we would have got a whole different conversation. Because there's been a lot of times where I see on there that, it's because they're racist. It's because they're racist. I want them to say out loud that they are racist. I want them to say out loud what their actual grievance is. Get it out. I want to hear it. I want to hear exactly why. And then we can have a different type of conversation. Because maybe that's what part of the problem is. Everybody's talking about, oh, it's unheard. Nobody says it out loud. Nobody says, but we know what it is. Well, let's put it out there. And then maybe we can find out why. Why? Why do you feel that way? What stereotype did you learn about growing up that made you form these opinions on why you should hate me? I want to know. I want to hear it from their mouth. So, I don't know. I feel like, you know, karma's a bee, so he got exactly what he was supposed to be getting, you know. Everybody protesting on his front lawn and him in jail, and good for him. He went, whatever. But I feel like the conversation needs to be had by more racist white folks. Say it out loud. Say it.
I don't have a lot of opinions on this. This week, you know, a couple of days last week, I've just been doing a lot more censoring of what I watch and I allow in. I've just had a lot of stuff going on, and so I haven't done a lot of research. And like I was telling Devin, I am the only black woman, only black person at my job. So for 3 or 4 days, I had more emails about these two situations than I did about work. And it was just overwhelming. Like, I'm tired of being your go-to black person. Like, you got to know other black people besides me. And stop asking my opinion and call the white folks or the people that are doing this stuff and ask them, you know, talk to them. Stop talking to me. Stop sending me your condolences. Go and call these people and say, why y'all still doing this? Just like you, ask them, are you racist? What's going on? Have a conversation with them. So for the most, I don't know a lot of details about it. I know from the 2 or 3 links that you guys sent in our chat, that's what I've looked that up. I watched a couple news shows, but I've spent less than 8 hours on it in the last couple of weeks. So I don't.
It looked bad. It looked real bad. And the boy, and I call him a boy because I don't know how old he is. I'll say young man, that was involved with it. I feel like he was constantly trying to engage in this conversation with him. And this is what I want. And this may be a very unbiased opinion. I think when you encounter some racist people, opposed to trying to prove a point or engage in something in like an argument, that we would just go stop and walk away. I mean, what if that had gone really bad? Because apparently other people were there. You know, I don't know if that was his wife or girlfriend that was videoing. And if he's military, in my opinion, there's a chance he could also own a firearms. And I just think that could have gone really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the majority, you got the main part of it on tape. You know, she was videoing it for a reason. We can still put that out. But I just wish sometimes we would just walk away a little bit sooner, to avoid it being a much worse situation on the news. You know what I'm saying? And because I think about the young man who was shot instead of tased. She had no right to, you know, embark a death sentence on this young man, you know. But I wish that we would, as we understand that this should not be happening, we shouldn't have to feel bad, we shouldn't have to be punished for the color of our skin. I just wish sometimes we would think it through a little bit more. And I thank God that all he did was push him. Let's be honest. I just worry that could have gone a lot worse than what it did. And of course he got fired, and he got charged with a really small misdemeanor. And I think his life will go back to normal because let's be honest, he had a lot of supporters who helped him. Just like the girl who shot the young man in the car. She had, you know, people go over there that same day and that day and build a fence around her house to protect her from the people that were protesting and etc. I just think something different needs to be done. We need to do our part to handle it so that it'll stop, you know, so that we don't have such a negative outcome of it. It was sad. You know, I wish we had known the full story and everything that had happened. I think I read that neighborhood is primarily Black. None of it made sense to me. I feel like I'm lost. I feel like I'm missing something. You know, I feel like he was wrong. He should have been charged with assault. It's a very small misdemeanor. I'm hoping the military also punishes him and handles it. because I know they made a statement that the military does not conduct this behavior, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there needs to be a consequence in that area as well. But I don't know. I just wish we would start thinking more just so that we can walk away alive. Shantae says, I watched the video of Pentland. I thought he did tell Pentland he was trying to leave. He did say, I am trying to leave. He was like, go. And he's like, I'm going. But then he turned around and said, but why are you following me? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was walking away, but then it became a chest bump thing. Like, why you follow me? I go when I want to, like that type of situation. And that's what.
See, I didn't watch the video, but that would have bothered me. Like, why can't I be here? Why do I have to leave? Like, am I on your property? If I'm not, and I'm on the sidewalk by a stop sign, why are you forcing me to leave? Like, was the young man causing damage to any property, or was he hurting anybody?
No, not on the tape, not on the video. He wasn't. You're on mute.
Can't
hear you, love.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
That's the part that I'm not understanding, is that if we understand that when white folks act a certain way and they don't come out and say, yeah, I'm racist, they just act a certain way, we're sitting here questioning it. Why? Like, internally questioning, like making us think like we're doing something wrong. You ask the question, you don't like me being here? No, I don't like you being here. It's because I'm black? That way we now have an understanding. And then again, that's where the conversation comes in. We can either have a conversation or then I can just walk away, because then I know what it is. I don't have to stand there like I'm confused. There is no confusion. Be very direct. You have it right. Are you doing anything wrong? No. Is it public walkway? Yeah. Do you live there? Yeah. So why are you sitting there questioning, why don't I have a right to be here? You have a right to be wherever the hell you want. So I'm not understanding why we're not asking the question. Why are you not going to ask the question? You don't want me here because I'm black, right? Okay, fine. Guess what? I'm walking right here, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm not understanding why we're not having that kind of that approach to it. Why are we sitting there? Do you see how he's acting? Do you see how why is he acting like, you know why he's acting like that? Stop doing that. Stop acting like, oh my God, no, because that's the same crap that we make fun of them doing. Stop acting like that. You stand your ground. And in Texas, we stand our ground, okay? We stand our ground. If somebody's gonna sit here and try to make me move, walking down the dang street, guess what? Now it's legal to carry. You can try to get me to leave somewhere.
Ooh, definitely don't want to go there. I'm still scared about that one, but
Me too.
Ruth's
I don't have a problem with it.
Ruth's like, what's the problem? What's the problem?
I saw that.
What's the problem?
The problem is these boys in high school that are 18 that go legally buy a firearm can walk around with it, open carry.
They can legally walk around with it if they ain't driving, because you got to leave it in your car, right? You can't bring it into the school.
I don't know. MacArthur was just shut down. Mac got shut down Wednesday, because some boys had guns. And they was fighting and arguing over drugs. My son goes to Mac. And at 2:00, we were notified. My son didn't get home till after 7:30 because they had the school locked down.
Okay, now you just said kids. You said you can't buy a gun until you're 18. So why would kids need, do you get what I'm saying? That should have been the fear before it was legal to carry. Now I can carry legally, openly, like Arizona. And I feel like it puts. Okay, wait. This we're not on that subject yet. We're not on that subject yet. Let's move. We gotta stay on this topic. This guy, again, mentality right here. Mentality. We need to stop acting confused, because we're not confused. We sit here and we go home and we talk about it the whole time, man. And this white dude, he got mad because I was walking on the sidewalk. Well, you know that's how they be. We have a whole conversation like that all the time. So why, with the white man in front of you, is you not going to ask the question? You don't want me to be here because why? No, just tell me the real reason. Tell me the real reason, because then it forces them to actually say it out loud.
Well, with that being said, do you think that there should be some type of education or something done with people, with Black people, or just people in color in general, as far as how to deal with those situations? It kind of falls into our next category, in my opinion. Y'all know Black Lives Matter has raised a lot of money. Related
$90 million.
A lot of money related to that movement. And I have a curiosity to know where it is. You know, one of the questions I asked is, you know, one of the Black Lives leaders, activists, you know, bought a couple houses worth a few million, which is her prerogative, right? Like, because I guess they shouldn't be any more poor than the people we donate to, as far as your Goodwills and things like that. But you ask less questions if you see, you know what I'm saying, if you see results of where all the funds are going. And maybe the thing we just spoke about could relate to, you know, education, putting it into certain communities and things like that, how to handle these situations. I don't know. Where are you ladies with this?
So I could have sworn I had said that you have to put 60% at least back into going towards things, going towards your cause, right? That don't look like 60-40. No. Like, I'm looking at that big gap. I don't know where it was. That big gap that was on there. Yeah, there it is. That big gap. That's the balance. That's the remainder. So that's what should be going towards that little bit right there. That was expensive. And then you got to pay your people. Okay. That's not 40. That's not 60%. That's not 60%. So I'm not understanding. Look, who's giving?
Was that expenses? Was that like salaries of people at Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Or was that expenses for? Okay.
Because depending on you can still pay employees. You can.
Yes.
No, I get that because you gotta pay. But I'm just
transportation to a speaking engagement, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I see that orange where it says balance, I'm like you, Ruth, that it's not equaling out to me. Like, I want to see some spreadsheets. And then it says local community. Put it back up one more time, Shantae, if you don't mind. This little blue part shows local community chapters or local chapter commitments. Like, is that spread out over the U.S.? Is that just one little area?
Yeah, however many chapters that they have.
Spread out over multiple Black Lives Matter chapters. So there may be 2 chapters in Texas, one in Mississippi.
And that's what I'm going to say, because I haven't seen much in Texas. Okay, 21.7 million.
I saw that some of
the 21 million.
I saw some of the chapters say that they declined it, and they raised their own money.
Well, some of them,
wow.
I saw where some said they didn't receive it as of yet.
And see, and that's my issue. Like, I stopped giving to a lot of charities because I couldn't see where my money was going. I needed to make sure that you wasn't buying $1 million toilet seats with my money, and I don't have $1 million toilet seat.
Well, apparently that's where some of it is going. Caribbean homes.
I'm not okay with that. Like, especially with this stuff that's continuing, you know, the Pentland and the Gutierrez, with all this stuff that's still going, you're not using my money for what you told me you were getting it for. I don't want to see Black Lives Matter debunked, you know, or pulled apart, but somebody need to get in there and say, okay, 10 million is definitely allocated to education. Let's start our own school. 10 million is allocated to fighting whatever. Let's start this. Like, show me some blueprints, some groundwork, something.
I think some of it should go to campaigning for your local leaders, things like that, to try to change the
dynamic. This word local. Everybody keeps saying local. Where is the local Dallas Black Lives Matter? Y'all know our protest. I'm out there. I'm on city council. I go to our meetings every third Thursday here in Irving. I have not seen one representative. They probably think it's me, but it's not me.
It doesn't exist. I keep telling y'all this mess.
So I'm like, what's local? Because I want to go to one of the rallies. I don't mind going and saying, hey, where's our cut of the 21.7 million?
No, Shantae, and that's what it was. I feel like they play on a lot of people's heartstrings. You know what I'm saying? When all this is going on, you want to give the money, you don't ask any questions. I ain't gonna lie, I donated because I just felt some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Because here's what's going on in my crazy mind. You know, because it was right after the major shooting in Minnesota. You know, my thing was it was going to go to his family. You know what I'm saying? To his children that were lost, and to his funeral expenses, and I don't know what I was thinking. You see what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, they received their own money from a settlement from the actual state. You know, so they had money and things like that. They had their own GoFundMe's and things like that for burial and for the kids and for things. So, and if it's just little old me in Texas, there's a million others. So
I wasn't really worried about. I think I gave less than $200 over several years to Black Lives Matter. But these companies like Google and Apple, y'all are doing millions and millions of dollars. Are you just giving because of a tax write-off and you don't care where the money went?
Campaigns.
What?
It funds political campaigns.
See, Google gave 12 million. Walmart gave 100 million.
Insane, y'all. That's insane.
Yeah, these are not lump sums all at one time, though. This is over a period of time.
But still, I mean, it's equal to that. I need
insane.
Category. I need every 2 or 3 months. Hey, where did my money go? What are y'all doing with? What did you do with that $500,000 that I sent you?
Why are the schools in the low socio economic areas still looking like crap? If there's $90 million there.
I really feel like those companies that gave all that money, they did it so they could go back and say, hey, look, we gave to Black Lives Matter. Come shop with me.
Why
I don't think they gave a damn what the money was going to be used for.
Why is it not going to legal funds and to help get some people out of for prison reform? Why is it not? There's so many things that can be done.
I'm telling you, they did it to save face. I look good. Hey, I gave them money. Come give me the rest of your money. I don't give a damn about y'all. I just want you to keep spending with me. So let me make myself look good real quick.
So then what do we do?
So now that we know this, guys.
I was going to say, what do we do? What do we do with it?
It's a lot. This isn't a topic, but Rick Ross and another Black guy, they made that Black bank. I don't have a lot of money in it, but I did move some funds over there. I want to test it out for about a year or so to see what the difference is. If it's legit, stays legit, that's where my money is going. I'm tired of putting my money and investing and buying products from people who really don't care about me. I mean, I got a lot of stuff in my house that is not, I can't go to Walmart and get a replacement for because I didn't buy it from Walmart.
Then stop banking with big corporations. Like, okay, it's not about, and that's the other thing that people play on this, put out there, oh, buy black, and then you get this whole, movement that's supposed to speak for all Black people. And it doesn't, because when that mess came out, I said, look what they doing. They putting a face on our pain, on our suffering. They're putting a face to it now. And so now if companies don't, want to unload some guilt that they may have, or still maintain or retain their consumers, then let me go ahead and donate to, some money, a big number to this face, so people could, know that I'm with them. I'm doing it. I'm with the people. No, okay. Then
I just said that
people that want to do good getting a bad rep. Like it's promoting this mistrust again within our own community. So just, it's not even about having going to making sure that this bank is legitimate. Like, just don't go to Chase or don't go to Bank of America. Don't go to Wells Fargo. Go to your community bank. They're
it may be Killer Mike.
Unions. Go to those. You ain't gotta go to a major corporation because those are the ones that we're supposed to be fighting against. That's capitalism. Like, what? Help the mom and pop shops out. Just because they're not Black, a lot of them are still people of color, Indian, Korean. Until we can build and maintain our own things, then thank you, Lamar Until
Thank
we
you,
can build and
Lamara.
maintain
What's
our own
up?
thing.
What's up? Much
Keep
respect.
it local. Keep it local. Keep what you do local. There's farmers market like Winco. I love Winco because it's not necessarily name brand. They have all the farmers from everywhere put their stuff in there. Go to like even the farmers market in Colleyville, wherever. Like,
I don't think you can hear me, Rue, because some of the stuff I said, you just re-said the same thing. Can you hear me?
no.
Okay. Because you basically like you.
I can't hear nothing.
You basically like you just re-said everything I said. But Will, Shantae, there was a comment. I think his name was Will. He said Black Lives Matter Global versus Black Lives Matter Foundation. I'm not familiar with Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Do you have a link for that, Mr. Sanders? If you do, will you share? If you have a link, share it or inbox it. I would like to look it up just for my own personal
So
knowledge
I think the
or whatever.
Global Network is the one that has all the chapters underneath it.
I don't know. I just, again, like you were saying, ain't nobody holding anybody accountable. We had all these big glamorous ideas and everybody was, oh, let me put my face out here to show I'm standing in support. And then everybody just dropped the ball and walked off and there was nobody still there holding, I'm going to keep saying Google accountable. And then I feel like a lot of these companies know they're the big names and people are going to flock to them anyway. So they're not going to change. But I don't know. And then she corrected me because I said the wrong name. It's Killer Mike who started the bank.
Yeah, which I think he's awesome. I think a lot of Black people, they just took advantage, of us and took advantage of our sadness and said, this is what we're doing. This is what we need to do. Donate, give. And then we give when they, I don't think, had any intention of dumping that back into.
It's almost like those preachers in the Baptist church. They give this real hype, energetic, message and tell you, oh, you're going to be blessed. And right after that, they say, okay, let's take up an offering. And so you're all emotional and you digging through your purse. Stop laughing, Ruth. You digging through your purse and then you just give all your money thinking, oh, this is going to really benefit. And then later on, when you go to the church and say, can I have a statement to see where that $2,000 went? There's nothing there. That was my take on it.
It went to the building fund, Lucretia. It went to the building fund.
Girl, how many churches in Corsicana have you seen with a building fund sign and stop? What was you finna say, Rue? Because Devin being messy.
I said there's always a building fund. They say building fund because you always gonna keep building in the church, Building
and nothing happens. Don't break ground nowhere.
And that crack been on that same window since I was 3. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here on that building.
Stop.
Asbestos and black mold. The hell out of here. Anyway, finals, ladies. Let's wrap this show up. Lucretia.
Why you make me go first?
Forget you, Rue.
In terms of relationship, learn how to formulate work on yourself before you try to get in bed with somebody else. And then I don't know, man, those are kind of heavy today. Like, I think we all need to do some self-reflecting because there's a lot of things that we keep doing over and over again. And I'm trying to figure out why we keep doing it. And I understand humans are creatures of habit. However, our ancestors took a lot to try to break cycles to have us sit here still stagnant doing the same thing over and over again. So at some point, we need to start thinking like our ancestors and start knocking some doors down. So I'm going to leave it at that. Reflect on yourself and what more you can do. Control the narrative. That's what I'm gonna say.
Lucretia.
My final thoughts. We just got to do better. We got to stop letting people off the hook. Thank you, Lamar. We got to stay accountable. We got to stay accountable. We got to keep pressing. We got to have those hard conversations. We got to force people to have those hard conversations. And until we can be in the position to have our own Google, we do need to shop local. We do need to pull our money back. I mean, money rules the world. And if you hit people in their pockets, they start to listen to you. I don't know. I mean, you know what? We did have some heavy topics. So y'all that are viewing, send us some ideas on what y'all think we need to talk about. We would love to have some feedback. You can send it to any of the ladies. Our names are up. You can find our inboxes. Send it to Shantae. Send it to Lamar. Put it on the page. I mean, you can see all three of us. We love talking and conversing. Ain't no arguing. We like getting into it. So send us what y'all want to hear about and to get a lady's point of view on that.
I think the foundation of anyone's relationship, anyone's household should be very individual. I think we should quit going by what the stereotype is, what's trendy, what's hype. You're going to sow another seed on this word.
Lamar paying our building fund.
Yay!
He going to fix that doorknob. That'll go on the doorknob, Lamar. But what about those other three, that window that's, anyway. I think you should just do whatever makes you happy individually in your relationship. If your partner and you decide that polyamory or ethical non-monogamy is your thing, I think that's cool. I just think that you should not let somebody sway you into doing something that's not you, not for you. And I think honesty and communication is the best thing in any type of relationship. One of the things Rue mentioned with the situation with the young man and the guy in the military, I can't remember his name. But I do think that when people have these things on video, I would like to hear the words, is it because I'm Black? Are you a racist? And then I think that's a great idea. And to see where the conversation goes from there. And let's just see if they'll be honest, or let's just say if they'll be like, no, it's because blah, 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 blah. Opposed to it all being heightened and everybody just making assumptions and things like that. I do think that's a great idea. Just come on out and ask and be done with it.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching. Lamar, definitely thank you for those super chats, for that moolah. Much appreciated. You guys all have a wonderful Sunday evening. Be blessed. Good night. Bye.
Peace. I don't know what the heck is wrong.